about the Beneco in their leadership crisis. Medyo affected ako ngayon kasi we are consumers. And I was quite disappointed with how, hindi naman pa, no, pero later on in the future, magiging PNP din kayo. Pero it's just how PNP was quite loop-sided or one-sided with whom they actually sumunod. Pero I think it's just an order of the higher ups. Kaya medyo sunod sa order lang sila, which I think is not also kasi kailangan nilang sumunod talaga, so trabaho lang, but sana ma-resolve ng Beneco yung leadership crisis nila. And again, I would stand that General Manager Lucobin would be the rightful general manager of Beneco. Ayun. Sino ba titagat tublay dito or going silan na na ba? Natayo na ba yung natumbang poste doon? Ada ba titagat silan dito? Meron mang taga silan sa inyo? Wala siguro. Anyway, sige, it's already 10 o'clock. I hope that you are there. I hope that we are ready and let's get to just spend 1 hour for this one. And your cooperation will be my utmost goal that I'd like you to have. Just cooperate and mabilis tayo with this one. Alright, so the last time that we talked about your alcohols. No? And I hope that maybe naka-answer na kayo about the differences between the effects of alcohols for male and female. For some of you who will become a part of PNP, marami kasi ang branch ng PNP. You may go SOCO, you may go siguro doon lang sa office, you may go as staff, in other different na mga departments. But maybe some of you would opt to become a highway patrol group, HPG, doon naman kayo sa traffic division. And if you get to see, minsan ang mga cause ng ating mga accidents are either, usually kasi ang naka-cause ng accidents is actually the under the influence of alcohol. And if you get to see there, there is this device that I'm asking you to explain on how it actually works. If you can still remember what is that device that we use for us to be able to determine if a person is sober or not. Na-remember nyo yun? Sa assignment nyo or sa activity nyo. May I hear voice? Anybody? Iilan pa lang nagpas, dalawa pa lang ata. Anybody? Again, I'm encouraging your cooperation kasi once again, as I mentioned, only the people that I get to hear cooperating are the ones that I get to remember. And whenever I compute for the grades, those people that I get to remember are the ones that I get to also add extra points. Yun. So if you are the passive ones, then yun, whatever number that you are sending me is just the enough number that I'm going to also going to also place there. So anybody still remember what was that apparatus or what is that technology that we are to able to determine the sobriety of a
Sir,
certain? Yes, we have your breathalyzer. And in that case, through the breath pa lang, makikita natin kung merong alcohol content yung hininga ng isang tao. As a person, if you know the rule for the XPG, if ang XPG naman walang dalang breathalyzer, there are actually mga SOP na ginagawa nila for them to be able to determine if under ka ng influence ng alcohol. Other than that, trying to use the senses, we're trying to see the person, smell the person, even the way the person talks, malalaman mo na kung lasing or hindi. In that case, meron din namang iba, dinideny nila, or merong iba, ang galing talagang magtago yung lasing nila. So, like others, they require like the driver or maybe the motorist, to walk in a straight line if it's able to walk in a straight line for a certain meter kung wala silang breathalyzer. But the point is that, in relation to the thing that we are talking about last time, about alcohol, it's related to the breathalyzer, which is actually something that you will be encountering in the near future. This time for your chapter 9, we'll be talking about your aldehydes and ketones. Now, these aldehydes and ketones are actually also very common, and I believe that you encountered this one in your grade 9, if only you are listening to your science teacher. So in this case, for this two, we are going to name this one today. Alright, let's continue. Now, for you to be able to determine an aldehyde, it has only, no, the one that makes it an aldehyde is the presence of a double bond oxygen there. If you can still remember in your alcohol, the one that will tell you that it's an alcohol is because there's an OH there, an oxygen and a hydrogen. However, in this case, for the aldehyde, panunutan nyo, isipin nyo, or just remember that for the aldehyde, it's a double bond oxygen that will make it an aldehyde. Alright? Aldehyde. So in this case, no, just like alcohol, which in the end of the name will be trying to change it from an OL, for the aldehyde, no, later on, we'll be changing this one also in a certain way para malaman natin na aldehyde siya. Alright? So, ganito yung itsura ng isang base structure ng aldehyde. It has a double bond oxygen. Alright? Now, examples of your aldehydes are the ones that we get to see in nature are actually ito, no? Meron dito yung aldehyde pyroxyl phosphate, no? This is used for the coenzyme for metabolism. This is actually the ones that are used for tawag nito for sa loob ng body natin for metabolism. We have also what you call your ketone hydrocortisone. These are actually mga anti-inflammatory or steroids, no? Iba yung steroids na ginagamit natin na pampalaki ng mga muscle. For boys who are going to the gym, iba yung steroids naman doon. But in this case, no, these steroids are actually mga anti-inflammatory ito. Pag meron kang mga inflammations in your body, then ketone hydrocortisones are actually the ones that being applied. Ito, meron tayong mga cream dyan. Creams are actually being placed there. But be mindful that whenever you use a steroid, a hydrocortisone, it actually suppresses your immune system. Madali kang magkasakit. Kasi a steroid is actually, yes, again, nag-help siya para hindi mag-inflame yung mga parts ng body mo na are inflamed. But the side effect would be an immunosuppressant effect. Magiging suppressed yung immune system mo, hihina yung immune system mo, kunting bakterya lang, nagkasakit ka na. So, be mindful of how you use your steroids. Alright? So, we have these two examples, no, of an aldehyde and a ketone here. You get to see this is the aldehyde and this is the ketone. So, these are found in nature. Alright, in the industry, no, the very best example of an aldehyde is actually your formaldehyde. Anybody's an idea of what is the common name for formaldehyde? Meron kayong na-encounter dito. Formaldehyde, the common name for this one. Kung embalsamero ka, o embalsamador ka, alam mo itong formaldehyde. Any idea? May I hear?
Formalin, sir.
When formalin, no? The formalin is an example of your aldehyde. In your formalin, no? In a chemistry sense, it's actually called your formaldehyde. Alright? So, parehas lang si formalin at saka si formaldehyde. Common name lang si formalin. But formaldehyde, na-try nyo ba? Na-try nyo na bang makaamoy, makahawak ng formalin? Na-try nyo ba? Anybody who tried this one during their biology class? Amoy yun dyan mga maikabkabil nga ti garapon ng mga parts ti body. If you have tried that one, I've seen that one before. Kasi sa public school namin, meron kaming mga ganun eh. And it's actually floating inside a garapon, and there is a solution inside the garapon. And the solution there is actually your formalin. Your formalin is being used to preserve bodies. Kaya nga, 'di ba, whenever somebody is, for example, may namatay, no? Nangangamoy formalin yung wake natin or yung lamay natin. It's because, no, it actually slows down the disintegration of the body, no? Para mukhang tao pa rin yung nilalamay natin, no? Hindi agad inaagnat. Kasla isuna nga preservative. No? Another example of your ketone, a very good example of your ketone is your acetone. Saan ba natin ginagamit yung acetone? Anybody has an idea? So, females, saan ba natin ginagamit yung acetone?
Panglinis ni cutics, sir.
Panglinis ni cutics niya or mga nail polish remover. Pangpatanggal pag merong mga nasulat-sulat na mga Pag meron kayong mga kanakan na nagsulat-sulat din dyan sa wall, tapos gumamit ng pentel pen, no, you can use acetone for you to be able to take out the ink from the wall if nagdo-vandal sila dyan. So, acetone. Pero anong napansin nyo sa acetone whenever you put acetone in your finger or you put acetone in your palm sa kamay nyo, what do you observe? What do
Sir,
you observe?
nalambis.
Well, nalamin kan inyapay. Aside from it's quite cold, anong napansin nyo? Anong napansin nyo dyan sa acetone pag nilagay nyo sa kamay nyo at ilang seconds? Anong na-feel nyo?
Buraw suna.
Well, no, if you get to see, no, your acetone is an example of something that is volatile. No? The word volatility or volatile is used in chemistry. Ang dali nilang mag-evaporate. Napansin nyo ba? No, ikabilyot imayo kat later on kasla na ibus. No? Kasla na ibus nga dagos. Napansin nyo ba? Si Kasday? Para siyang nauubos agad. It's because it's easily evaporating. No? It's a volatile solution. That is an example of a volatile solution na madali lang siyang mag-evaporate. Kaya pag pour mo ng acetone dyan, ipahid mo agad. No? Huwag mong i-display dyan. Or huwag mong iwan yung acetone mo na hindi na natakpan. No? Dapat takpan mo yan. Later on, awan ti karganan daytan sa amin kapag evaporate yan. Alright, so your acetone is an example of your ketones. And later on, no, in your discussion for answering the ketones, no, have you ever heard of a keto diet? Diet, no, sa mga taong gustong mag-diet, meron tayong iba-ibang style ng diet. Meron sinasabi natin vegan diet. Meron nating sinasabing mga South Beach diet. At meron din sinasabi na keto diet. So, what kind of diet are you having right now? Mga ganun, no? Kasi keto diet, sumikat yan last year eh. No? Yung sinasabi nila. But later on, we'll get to discuss that one. So, as I've mentioned again, these are examples of your aldehydes in your ketones. No? For formaldehyde, aldehyde is your formalin, and your ketone is your acetone. Kaya nga may tone sila kasi yun, magkalapit yung mga pangalan nila. Alright? Commonly, when you talk about your aldehyde, no, ito yung mga common. Again, it's just the same with the ones that we have mentioned before. Pag isang carbon lang at alkane yan, what do you call that? One carbon alkane. If you can still remember. Anong tawag natin sa alkane na isang carbon lang? May I hear? No, again, balik tayo sa basic. Isang carbon lang sa chain niya, no? Tapos alkane siya. Ano tawag natin doon?
Methane, sir.
Methane, no? Methane, tama. Methane yun. In this case kasi, no, an alkane with a double bond oxygen, which tells you that it is an aldehyde, no? So, yung methane natin, tanggalin mo lang yung E at dagdagan mo lang ng Al, no? Yung pinaka-basic natin na aldehyde is what you call your methanol. Alright? So, parehas din dati sa alcohol mo. Ang pinaka-basic was methanol. But this time, since this is an aldehyde, no, we call this one your methanol. For 2 carbon, ethanol. For 3 carbon, we have your propanol. For 4 carbon, we have your butanol. Ano kaya ang 5 carbon? Ano kaya ang pangalan ng 5 carbon? Anybody can guess? 5 carbon kaya? Ano kaya ang pangalan nito? Anybody? 5 carbon. Oh. Methanol daw ang 1 carbon, 2 carbon is your ethanol, propanol is your 3, butanol is your 4. So what we call the 5 carbon? And can you guess?
Pentanol.
Yeah, yes, penta. Napuputol yun.
Pentanol.
Alright, so thank you very much, no? Yes, it's pentanol, no? Pentanol. Tapos it continues, like for example, if 6 hexa, so hexane, hexanol. Or 7 heptane, heptanol. So continue lang yan hanggang ilang carbon meron yung nakikita natin. Alright, so these are just some few examples of the most basic structure of your aldehyde. But then again, no, alam natin na pwede silang magkaroon ng mga branches nila. And that is the problem later on how we name them later on. So, punta tayo, paano natin mag-name yung natin aldehyde. So, daanan lang natin to, but the point is that, no, it's just the same with your alkanes take out the E and add the AL. In this case, ano itong example natin dito? How would you name this one? It has a 2-carbon methane and it's an aldehyde because it's a double band oxygen there. What do you call this one? Ano kaya pangalan nito? Anybody would like to guess?
Ethanol.
All right, very good. It's ethanol. All right, thank you very much for responding. No, it's an ethanol. So that's the rule number 1. No, it has 2 carbons. So para siyang ethane nung alkane siya. Pero kasi aldehyde ito kasi merong dalawang double band oxygen, may isang double band oxygen. It's an aldehyde, so therefore it's ethanol. All right, very good, no? Ethanol. So, pag ganito naman, no? Pag in this case naman, pag meron tayong mga ganitong mga parent chain must contain the CHO and the CHO carbon is numbered as 1. All right. Ang problem natin dito is that, no? The same pa rin yung principle natin. No? If you can still remember, all right? What's the name of an alkane that has 3 carbons? Alkane na may 3 carbon. Anong pangalan niyan? Anybody?
Propane, sir.
All right, you have your propane, but since this is your aldehyde, how do you name this one? Oh, we have your propane, but
Propanol.
very good. This is propanol. No? Thank you very much once again for responding. Propanol ito. Pero the point is that, no, in this case kasi, paano natin i-number at saan tayo magsisimulang mag-number ng mga carbons natin? In this case that you are seeing right now, how do we start the number? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left? If you think. Saan kaya tayo?
Right to the left.
Alright, very good, no? We always start from where the double band is the nearest. Or, kung saan si double band mas lower yung number niya. Pag magsisimula tayo sa left, ito yung carbon 1 natin, carbon 2, carbon 3, magiging number 3 dito si double band oxygen. But if we're going to start from the right to the left, ito yung 1 natin, 2 and 3. So 1 dito siya pag right to left at magiging 3 siya pag left to right, which has the lowest number, 1 or 3?
1.
1, definitely 1. So therefore, we start from the right to the left and we need to specify which number nakakonect si double band. In this case, anong pangalan nito ngayon? Sabi mo kanina, propanol. Tama yon. Pero in this case, no, saang carbon number nakakonect itong si propanol?
Number 1.
Alright, so carbon number 1 in that case. Pero sa ganito lang kasi, no, pwede kasing ibaliktad natin to from doon sa kabila sa left or sa right, it doesn't matter. Pero magsa-start na tayong mag-number nito pag itong double band nag-connect dito sa gitna. No? We need to specify that it's 2 propanol. But in this case, kahit baliktarin mo to sa kabila, magiging 1 pa rin yan. So, simply, this is just propanol. Alright? Tingnan natin mamaya for more examples. Alright. Note in the following example that the longest chain, blah, 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 is ganito, ganan. So, no? Puntahan natin agad yung example and let's try to investigate this one. You get to see how many carbons are there in the longest chain. Ilang carbon kaya?
5, sir.
We have 5. So in this case, if this is an alkane, how do you name these 5 carbons? Pag alkane,
Pentane, sir.
you have your pentane. But since you get to see that there exists a double band oxygen there, therefore this is an aldehyde. So from pentane, how do we name that one to become an aldehyde?
Pentanol.
Alright, very good. Pentanol. Tama yun. But if you get to see also, no, pentanol. At meron tayong nakikitang mga nag-branch out dyan. Meron tayong CH3 dito. If you still remember, what is CH3?
Methyl, sir.
Methyl. Tapos meron din tayong CH2, CH3 dyan. If you can still remember, this is your ethyl. Tama din. But, no, if you're looking at it, no, saan tayo magsimulang mag-number? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left? Numbering natin yung mga carbons natin na 5 dyan, na naka-straight.
Right to the left.
Alright, very good. It's from the right to the left. And in that case, ano yung basis natin? Bakit nasabi natin right to the left?
Double
Double
bond.
bond, sir.
Alright, tama yung double bond. Saan mas malapit sa dulo si double bond, doon tayo magsisimula. In that case, we're going to start from the right to the left, and we consider this one your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5. Alright? If you get to see, meron tayong methyl dyan, ethyl dyan, tapos, syempre, ito na yung magiging apelido niya kasi kasama na natin siya dyan. No? So, in this case, alam na natin na apelido niya, pentanal. Alright, pentanal. Meron tayong methyl, meron tayong ethyl dyan. Sino yung unang isusulat natin? Si methyl o si ethyl?
Ethyl.
Ethyl. Tama yun, ethyl. But what, again, is our basis based on the rule? Ano yung basis natin based on the rule? If you can still remember doon sa alkanes, sa alkynes pa lang, or alkenes. Ano yung basis natin? Bakit mauna si ethyl kaysa kay methyl?
Alphabet.
Tama, alphabetical order. Siyempre, mauuna si letter E kaysa kay letter M. Si ethyl E, si methyl M. So then again, uunahin natin si letter E. So in this case, at what carbon number is your ethyl connected?
2, sir.
2. So yun na, no? Nandito na makikita natin. So 2 ethyl. Tapos, hanapin natin yung isang branch. At what carbon number is your methyl connected?
4.
4, sir.
4. So we have your 4 methyl. So meron na tayong pangalan na 2 ethyl, 4 methyl, and ano yung apelido niyang buo kanina?
Pentanal.
Pentanal. So yun na yung kompleto nating pangalan, no? Nakasulat dito, 2 ethyl, 4 methyl, pentanal. So ganun lang yung mga diskarte ng paanong magpapangalan natin dito. Questions before I get to continue? Marami pa tayong mga examples. Questions? Alright, I'll take that one as a yes. No, wala na kayong questions. So let's get to proceed. So ano bang meron dito? So we have your like no, you have your mga cyclic na mga aldehydes, pero I'm not very I will not be going to focus this one much about this one, pero alam na natin pag itong ganitong shape, 6 sides yan. So therefore, we know that it's hexane. And if it's connected to become a shape, it's not anymore a line, we add the cyclo. Tapos, yan, no? May CHO tayo kasi ang tawag natin dyan, it's a carbon group. It's a carbonate. So therefore, we call that one your carbaldehyde. Pero let's not get to talk much about that one anymore. No, let's proceed. Alright, so, again, no, meron tayong mga specific na mga, yung sinabi ko kanina, no, meron tayong mga specific na numbers that we are to assign, pero let's not talk this one anymore kasi nagpapagulo si common name at saka systematic name dito. Ang gagamitin natin is sa IUPAC name. No? Always sa IUPAC name. Continue tayo. Alright. For ketones naman tayo. Alright, for ketones naman tayo. Alright, may I request somebody to mute their microphones para hindi matabunan yung boses ko. So for ketones, the same lang, no? Again, we all have to make that one again parang alkane, no? Kung ilan man yung number of carbons in the straight chain, tanggalin natin yung E and dagdagan natin ng O and E sa last. In this case, if you're going to look at it here, now how many carbons do we have in the longest chain? Ilang carbon kaya?
6, sir.
We have 6, no? Kalabang 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In that case, if that is an alkane, then how do we name the 6 carbons?
Hexane, sir.
Hexane. But since we get to see that this is already now a ketone, no? From hexane, no? Tapos sabi nga nila, tanggalin daw yung E at dagdagan yung O and E. So from the hexane, how are you going to name that one this time?
Hexane.
Yes. Paano? Once again, medyo choppy yun. How do we name
Hexanone, sir.
We have now your hexanone. Alright, hexanone. Han nga hexone hexanone. So in this case, if you're going to look at here, we get to see here 6 na carbon. 6 na carbon. So this is now hexanone. But once again, the same rule applies, no? Kung saan banda mas malapit na dumulo si double bond, doon tayo magsa-start. So in this case, how do we start counting this one? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left? Medyo malabo yung pagka-connect niya. Actually,
Either.
Alright, so is it from the left to the right or right to the left? do you see that one? Naggulo kasi yung na-misplace kasi yung parang isang line ng double bond niya eh. Parang dumikit doon sa isang carbon. Pero that should connect only to a one carbon there. Alright, to give you an idea, no, we get to start from the left to the right. Kasi i-count natin to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pag nag-start tayo, ito yung 1 natin, nakakonect yung double bond natin sa carbon 3. This line should be connected here sa carbon 3, hindi doon sa carbon 4. Wag doon. Alright, so ganun siya. Pero pag nag-start kasi tayo dito, 1, 2, 3, 4, nandito siya, nakakonect, no? So, number 4 siya. Pag nagsimula tayo dito, number 3 siya. So, then again, follow the lowest number is 3. So, this should name, no? So, alam na natin hexanone ito. At what number is it connected? 3 or 4?
3, sir.
3. So, therefore, how do we name this one? The full name now this time.
3-hex.
Alright, very good, no? It's 3-hexanone. If you get to see there in your no? In your page 54 of your module, it's actually wrong. Anong nakasulat dyan? Kung nakakita, tinitingnan nyo yan ngayon.
2, sir.
Naka 2, di ba? So, it should be 3. 3. Tama yung new niya doon sa baba, which is actually another way of naming that one. But let's stick to the one on top. Alright? In that case, you should change that one to 3-hexanone and not 2-hexanone. Kamali yung 2. Right? That's the reason you have teachers, no? Sometimes the module is not perfect and makita mo na hindi mo ma-realize na wrong yan kung wala ka rin minsan wala kayong teacher na magko-correct yan. Alright, let's continue. The parent chain is the longest one that includes the ketone group and the numbering begins and near the carbonyl group. So alam na natin yan, no? But this one is quite complicated this time because then again, no? Again, sige, let's get investigate. How many carbons are there found in the longest chain? May I share? Ilang carbon ito?
6, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 totoo. But in this case, we cannot say that this is an alkane. It's because sa alkane kasi, single bond lahat yon. Pero there exists a double bond here. So therefore, what do you call this type of compound? Is it an alkene, an alkyne, or an alkene? Ano kaya ito? Double bond na eh. Nandito eh. Pag nakadikit yan lahat, meaning single bond yan, so alkane yun. Pero kasi may double bond dyan eh. What do you think is this? Ano kaya ito? Is it an alkane, an alkene, or an alkyne?
Alkenes.
Very good. This is an alkene. And since we know that there are 6 carbons there, so how do we name this one in alkene? Paano natin ipapangalan to sa 6 carbon na alkene?
Hexene.
Very good, hexene. Tama yun, hexene, no? And you get to see that, no? Sa alkene kasi, kailangan natin i-number kung saan banda yung double bond. But medyo meron kayong dilemma dito. Saan tayo mag-start? From left to the numbering ng carbon natin? Left to right or right to the left?
Right to the left.
Right to the
Right to the left. Ano yung basis nyo? Bakit nasabi nyo right to the left?
double bond, sir.
Alright, we have 2 double bonds there, but which specific double bond are you pertaining to?
Oxygen, sir.
Alright, very good, no? The one with the double bond oxygen. Kung saan siya mas malapit sa dulo, doon tayo magsisimula. In that case, we have carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, carbon 6. At what carbon number does the double bond for the alkene is located at? Anong carbon number for the alkene?
2, sir.
2? Alkene yung hinahanap natin.
4, sir.
2.
We have your 4, no? For the alkene, it's 4. However, if you get to see the double bond oxygen there, at what carbon number din nakakonect si double bond oxygen? Pag alam natin nagsimula tayo from the right to the left. What carbon number?
2, sir.
2. So, paano natin papangalanin to? No? Is first to acknowledge first yung naiiba. In this case, this is an alkene and it's connected to carbon number 4. So, we name this one your 4-hexene. Dapat 4-hexene, no? Kasi naka-carbon number 4 naka-connect yung double bond. So, 4-hexene. But, sa hexene na spelling, tatanggalin mo yung letter E. Right? Kasi connected na naman siya as a ketone. I think na nagawa na natin to last time, no? Na tinatanggal natin yung dulo ng apelyido ng unang parent chain. So this is your 4-hexene dapat ito, pero tatanggalin natin yung letter E, parang 4-hexene na lang siya. Tapos, alam natin na 4, no? This time, let's connect also at what carbon number is your double bond oxygen connected?
2.
Alright, so we have na your 4-hexene dash 2 at tsaka ano ang buong pangalan na ito? Ano ba ito? Is it a ketone? Is it an aldehyde? Ano ba ito? Ano bang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Is it a ketone or is it a ketone? So therefore, ang gagawin natin dito, since alam natin na hexene ito, no? So tapos naka-connect sa carbon number 4. So we have your 4-hexene, tanggalin natin yung E sa dulo, tapos 2 own na lang. Own. Kasi yung hexene doon, pwede kasi nating sabing hexenone. Pero kasi tinanggal natin yung E doon, dinulo natin yung own. Tapos si hexene naman nasa gitna. So therefore, we call this one your 4-hexene 2, kasi sa carbon number 2 nakakonect si oxygen to own. Ganun yung pagiging pagpapangalan natin ngayon sa kanya. You have that one in your page 54, no? At the second example there under rule number 3. Alright? Let's try some more example. Paano pag dalawa naman yung ating tawag natin? Dalawa naman yung ating nag-exist na double bond oxygen. Paano naman kaya natin papangalanan to? So first things first, no, just determine how many carbons you have in the longest chain. How many carbons?
6, sir.
Okay, 6 ulit. 6 ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. O 6. So, alam natin na alkane to kasi no, lahat na magkakatabi sila. So, alkane ito. So, pag 6 na carbon tsaka alkane, how do we name this one? Pag 6 na carbon na alkane, what's the name? Anong pangalan niya?
Hexane.
We have your hexane. So, hexane ito. Pero, there, nakita natin na hexane. Pero kasi, yung hexane, pwede siyang ma-change pa ng pangalan kasi we're talking about ketones. Hindi naman to total hexane. So, in this case, no, makita natin na meron tayong dalawang double bond oxygen there. So, the question would be, how are we going to number our carbon? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left?
Right to the left, sir.
Alright, very good. Right to the left kasi mas malapit itong dumulo yung isang double bond. So, in this case, we have your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, carbon 6. At what carbon numbers are your double bond oxygens connected? Anong carbon number sila connected?
2 and 4.
Very good. We have your 2 and 4. So therefore, we write there your 2, 4, 2, 4, and we know that this is your hexane, di ba? Kasi sinabi nyo. So ang gagawin natin dyan, 2, 4, hexane, pero tatanggalin natin ulit yung letter E. Ay, hindi na pala kailangan kasi wala na palang connection to. So we have your 2, 4, and we know that your 6 carbon is your hexane. But since we see that there are 2 ketone groups there, 2, 4, hexane, ano yung nilalagay natin sa dalawang ketone na group dyan? Ano yung nilalagay natin before the name?
Di, sir.
Very good, di. So we have now a partial name of 2, 4, hexane, di. Tapos ilalagay natin sa dulo ng ketone. Ano yung nilalagay natin sa dulo?
On, sir.
On. So, doon na. So, we have now a name of your 2, 4, hexane, dione. So, ganun siya magpangalan. It's just the same with this one, no? But this is just your hexene kasi double bond dyan. This is an alkane kaya hexane ito. Right? So, ganun natin pagpangalan. More or less, pwede pang mag-exist dyan. Merong nag-branch out dito na methyl or ethyl or propyl. Dadagdagan nyo lang yung mga pangalan siya. Alright? So, I hope that it will give you an idea of how you're going to name them, no? Parehas ng ganito. Meron din, nandito pala yung explanation na eh. Alright. So, meron din mga example, no? Try lang natin siguro. Would you like to try one? Kasi nasa 10:34 na tayo. Ay, and doon. Would you like to try one? First things first, no? First things first. I would like to, how many carbon numbers do we have in the longest chain? In this example that you have?
4, 4, sir.
You have your 4. And in this case, this is an alkane. So how do you name your 4 alkane? 4 carbon na alkane.
Butane, sir.
You have your butane. But this is an aldehyde. So therefore, from butane, no? Ano yung pwede natin from butane, ano yung magiging ano siya pag naging aldehyde siya? From butane. No?
Butanal, sir.
You have your butanal. So yan yung apelyido niya, butanal. In this case, no, butanal siya. Tapos tingnan natin, no? Paano natin i-number ito? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left?
Right to the left, sir.
I have your right to the left. What would be your basis once again? Why is it that from the right to the left? Anong basis natin dyan?
Double bond, sir.
Alright, sa double bond. Siyempre, dumulo si double bond sa kabila. No? So, ito yung carbon 1 natin, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4. And this case, no? Meron tayong isang nag-branch out dyan. If you can still remember, what is the name of this CH3? Alam niyo?
Fail, sir.
You have your methyl, no? At what carbon number is methyl connected?
2, sir.
2. So therefore, we have now, no, your 2-methyl, ano yung apelyido niya? Na sinabi natin kanina.
Butanal, sir.
Alright, very good. So the name would be your 2-methyl butanal. Meron pa tayong mga, ibang mga example dyan. Ito ba yun? Ito naman, this is wrong, yung pangalan niya. 2-methyl butanal. This one is not 2-methyl butanal. Looking at it, it's different. I'll give you the chance for you to correct this one. I'll give you the copy of this PowerPoint later on. Marami pang may example natin dyan. Andyan pala 2-methyl propanal. So, andun yung tamang name niya. Anyway, questions for ketones and aldehydes? Medyo magulo ba yung ketones and aldehydes in that case? Ketone and aldehydes, questions? Anong difference ng ketone and aldehyde na parang magkamukha sila? Napansin nyo ba? Napansin nyo ba? Na parang magkamukha si ketone and the aldehydes. Napansin nyo ba? Bakit, double bond naman si ketone dito. Bakit ketone ito? Tapos double bond din si aldehyde dito. Pero bakit aldehyde din siya? So, how do we differ there? Napansin nyo ba? Do you see the difference? Hala, baka hindi nyo napansin. No? Tingnan nyo lang na si aldehyde may kasamang hydrogen. Alright? If you're going to look at that one in your page 51, no? Si aldehyde RCHO, si ketones R2CO. The 2 there would be your double bond, pero si ketone kasi walang hydrogen na kasama. No? Si aldehyde meron. In this case, makita nyo si ketone wala siyang hydrogen na kasama dyan. Ubus, yung pinagkonekan niya. Pero si aldehyde, makita nyo, no? Meron siyang double bond dyan. May isa pang hydrogen dyan. That makes it your aldehyde. So, double bond O with a hydrogen is your aldehyde, and just the simple double bond oxygen is your ketone. Wala siyang hydrogen. Alright, so yan yung difference natin dyan. Alright, let's proceed na your chapter 10. Sa chapter 10 natin, we have your carboxylic acids, your nitriles, and your esters. Iba yung ethers na na-discuss natin last time, iba din yung esters. Pero hindi tayo mag-proceed sa very much sa nitriles and your esters. In your nitriles lang kasi nadagdagan siya ng nitrogen. Kaya nga medyo nagpangalan siyang nitriles. But let's proceed to what you call your carboxylic acids. Alright? Acids ito na usually makikita natin sa real life situation. Makikita nyo, si carboxylic acid is a combination of your ketone and your alcohol. May double bond oxygen siya dyan, meron pa siyang OH, which is actually the ones coming from your alcohol. Ito yung nagpapasabi sa atin na alcohol siya, but at the same time, meron siyang double bond oxygen dyan na nagpapasabi na ketone siya. Combine them together, your ketone and your alcohol, it becomes now a carboxylic acid, which is actually a weak acid. Weak lang siya. No? And having a strong, unpleasant odor. No? If naka-amoy kayo ng suka na medyo talagang yung matapang na suka, medyo medyo hindi siya maganda yung amoy niya. Alright? Your vinegars, if it's really that strong, it has Actually, a very strong, unpleasant odor. No? Yung mga, especially the ones that we get from the forest, no? Coconut vinegar, or those ones. Carboxylic acid. In nature, actually, these are the ones that are actually building your amino acid. Your amino acid is the building blocks of your protein. Muscles nyo, protein. No? Yung hair nyo, protein yan. Yung enzyme nyo sa body, they are actually also protein. Almost all of your proteins in the bodies are actually made up your amino acid. And what is so common between the two is that no, carboxylic acid and amino acid, magkalapit sila. Kasi parehas lang acid. And both contain carbons. Some examples of your amino acid, your threonine, your alanine, your valine. These are some few examples. And makikita natin what's so common with them is actually the existence of a double bond oxygen and an OH. Magkakaiba sila nang nakonektan sa kanila, pero sa dumudulo sa kanila, you have your double bond OH. Anywhere there, merong nag-exist na double bond oxygen and an OH for your carboxylic acid. Alright, so very example would be your datu puti, no? Your vinegar is a common diluted ethanoic acid. So in this case, meron na kayong idea kung paano magpangalan. Ethanoic acid. So we change, this is ethane, no? And you add the oic acid, then it becomes now your carboxylic acid. Specifically, your ethanoic acid, no? Yung datu puti natin, or yung mga vinegar natin. This is produced through oxygenation of your ethanol. Alam natin, your ethanol is actually your OH there. Pero nag-add ka ng oxygen, no? Which is oxidation process, it becomes now what you call your carboxylic acid. Alam naman natin kung paano tayo gumagawa ng suka, di ba? No? And to that point, meron pa tayong dinadagdag. If you add yeast there, we can make the suka into an alcohol. So, maraming mga choices kung paano natin, anong gagawin natin sa isang certain solution. Alright, so, the most common ones are your methanoic acid, no? Came from the word methane, methanoic acid. Came from the word ethane, ethanoic acid. Came from the word propane, which is your propanoic acid. Came from the word butane, your butanoic acid. So, ano kaya pag 5 carbon? Ano kaya pangalan nito? Any guesses? Anybody? Pag 5 carbon naman. Anybody?
Pentanoic, sir.
You have your pentanoic acid. Tama yon. Pero what happened here is this is quite wrong. Tama pala. Kasi nandoon yung pang 4th carbon niya. Tama pala. Right. So, you have this one as your molecular formula. Ganito yung mga structures nila. Makikita natin most of the time, may double bond oxygen there and may kasamang OH sa baba. No? Yan yung nagpapasabi sa atin na sila ay carboxylic acid. Alright, continue tayo. So, paano magpangalan? It's just, then again, naming the longest chain. Change that one to oic. Change that one, no? Take out the letter E and add the oic acid or OH for stretching, depende. Or if it's a cycle, then you add your cyclo. Pero try natin may example dito, alright? So, meron tayong ganitong example, no? Makikita natin that this is a carboxylic acid is because we have your two double bond oxygen there at meron tayong OH dito sa dulo. Magkasama sila. Alright? But then again, first things first. How many carbons do we have in the longest chain?
5, sir.
5. Tingnan natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tama, 5. And pag 5 yan, ano ang pangalan yan sa alkane?
Pentane, sir.
Very good, pentane. And from that pentane, alam natin na carboxylic acid ito. Anong pwedeng maging pangalan niya sa pentane na yan na maging carboxylic acid?
Pentanoic.
Alright ba? Tama, no? Pentanoic acid. Huwag niyong kalimutan lagyan yung acid sa dulo, Pentanoic acid. Alright? Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to determine on which carbon number are we going to start the numbering. Is it from the left to the right or right to the left?
Right to the left, sir.
Very good. Right to the left again. No? Ano yung basis natin?
Double bond, sir.
Alright? Double bond O, no? Yung saan yung double bond oxygen dyan, nakasama nyo yung OH, then doon tayo magsisimula. Therefore, tama yun. Sinabi nyo, we start from the left to the right to the left. This is your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5 there. Aside from that, we get to see that there is a branching out there, no, in our straight chain. Meron tayong nag-branch out dyan. And still remember kung sino ito. What's the name of this CH there again? Ang tawag natin dyan?
Methyl, sir.
Methyl, no? At what carbon number is methyl connected?
4, sir.
Alright, so we have now initial name sa una, 4-methyl, and ano yung apelido natin kanina dito?
Pentanoic acid.
Alright, so therefore we have now a new name, 4-methyl pentanoic acid, which is the complete name of this one. Alright, so ganun lang yung idea niya ulit. Alright, so we have your 4-methyl pentanoic acid. Continue tayo. Ibang example. Ito. Alright, sige. Isa-isahin natin to ha. Medyo komplikado ito. Isa-isahin natin. Alright? How many carbons do we have in the longest chain?
8, sir.
8. Let's try to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tama, 8. Pag alkene ito, ano yung tawag natin sa 8 carbon?
Octane, sir.
Octane. Pero alam natin na this is a carboxylic acid. So therefore, how do we make that octane a carboxylic acid name this time?
Octanoic acid, sir.
Very good. Octanoic acid. Alright? So yun. Tama yun. But we get to see that there exists two. Dalawa dyan, no? Nag-exist na dalawa. Dalawa yung nag-exist dyan na double bond oxygen at saka may OH dito, may OH dyan. So the question would be, how are we going to number this one? Is it from the right to the left or left to the right? Pag na-number natin ito.
Right to the left, sir.
Alright, let's try to see, no? Is it from the right to the left? Let's say, from the right to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Kita natin na, ito kasi magka-balance sila kasi kung simulan natin dito, 1 pa rin siya. Kung simulan din natin dito, mag-1 pa rin siya kasi nandun yung double bond. So, ang difference na lang talaga nila, I think, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ang difference na lang nila dito is for you to be able to balance sino mas mananaig dito. Alam niyo ba kung anong pangalan nito? Yung CH2, CH3 na nag-branch out dito? What do you think is the name of this one?
Methyl, sir.
Methyl. Tapos, ito naman, ano yung nag-branch out dito?
Methyl, sir.
Methyl. So, among the two that you get to see, sino ang mas mananaig? Sino ang mas ma-higher sa rank? Is it ethyl or methyl?
Ethyl?
Alright. It's actually ethyl kasi mas mataas si ethyl kaysa kay methyl, no? So, in that case, you get to decide now, since nanaig sa inyo na sinabi niya si ethyl ang mas manaig, how do we going to number your numbering of the longest chain? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left?
Left to the right.
Alright, very good. Left to the right. So, sundin na natin siya left to the right. Again, so, hindi na tayo nakapag-decide kanina kasi nagdulo nga pareha si double bond O. So, i-decide natin sila kung saan yung mga branching out or substituents mas manaig. And you mentioned that ito si ethyl. So, we start with carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, carbon 6, carbon 7, carbon 8. So, alam natin na yung isang dulo natin na connection sa yung isang double bond O natin na connection sa carbon 1 at yung isang double bond oxygen natin na connection sa carbon 8. At what carbon number is your ethyl connected?
3, sir.
3. Tama, no? 3. Tapos, at what carbon number is your methyl connected?
6, sir.
6. So, once again, sino yung una nating ilalagay sa pangalan? Is it ethyl or methyl?
Ethyl, sir.
Ethyl. At what is the basis? Why is it that ethyl ang uunahin natin?
Alphabetical.
Tama ulit, no? Alphabetical. So, syempre si letter E, mauna ka letter M. So, in that case, ano yung carbon number na connected si ethyl?
3, sir.
3. So, meron tayong 3 ethyl. Tapos, at what carbon number is your methyl connected?
6, sir.
Alright, so you have your 3 ethyl, 6 methyl, and ano yung buong pangalan ng 8 carbon na alkane? Pag alkane siya, tapos 8 carbon, ano pangalan niya?
Octanoic acid, sir.
Octanoic acid. Pero alkene muna. Punta muna tayo sa alkene.
Octane, sir.
Okay, so meron tayong 3-ethyl, 6-methyl, octane. Alright, lagay mo yung octane. Tapos ilang double bond oxygen tayo meron?
2, sir.
2. So pag 2 yan, anong prefix ang ilalagay natin?
Di.
Di. So, meron tayong octane, di. Tapos ano yung dinudulo natin para sabihin natin carboxylic acid siya? Ano yung nilalagay? Owic.
Dioic.
Alright, so meron tayo ng, no? Tama yun, sinabi mo. So let's complete the naming of this one. We have now your 3-ethyl, 6-methyl, octane, because this is 8-carbon alkane, octane, dioic acid, because we have 2 double bond oxygen and the OH there, so 2 dioic acid. Again, the complete name would be 3-ethyl, 6-methyl, 8-carbon octane, and we have your 2 double bond oxygen dioic acid. Alright, ganun tayo magpangalan pag merong mga extra na nag-branches dyan at dalawa yung i-exist natin na double bond oxygen with an OH na kasama niya. Alright, let's try one more example siguro in this case. Alright, so first things first, no? Tingnan natin dito, no? Imbestigahan natin. Ilang carbon meron na nag-exist sa longest chain? How many carbon?
4, sir.
4. So pag 4 ito at alkene ito, anong pangalan ng 4?
Butane, sir.
Butane. Pero nalakita natin na merong double bond oxygen dyan at OH dito. So yung butane na yan, maging ano pag naging carboxylic acid? What would be the name? If it's a butane, that becomes a carboxylic acid.
Butanoic acid, sir.
Yeah, we are butanoic acid. Tama yun, no? Tama yun. Very good. So, meron na tayong parang apelido nila, butanoic acid. Now, in this case, how do we number the carbon? Is it from the left to the right or right to the left?
Right to the left, sir.
Very good. Right to the left. Again, what was your basis?
Double bond of the oxygen, sir.
Very good, no? The existence of the double bond oxygen. So, we start with your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4. So, in this case, no, meron tayong nakitang nag-branch out dito. And what element is this one that is branching out here? If you still remember in your periodic table, itong Cl2, sino to?
Chlorine ba, sir?
Alright, tama, chlorine, no? Pero pag chlorine ito, mag-change tayo ng pangalan nito mamaya, no? The chlorine will change into chloro. Alright? Tapos i-combine natin kung ano yung na-connectan niya. So, in this case, chlorine is connected to what carbon number?
3, sir.
Alright, so we have the 3. So, what the initial name would be your 3-chlorine. Dapat yan kasi naka-attach siya sa carbon number 3. So, you have your 3-chlorine. Pero, hindi natin gagamitin yung buong pangalan ni chlorine. No, your INE, change that 1 to O. So, we have now your 3-chloro. And what's the whole name of the one? The apelido kanina na ginawa natin?
Butanoic acid, sir.
So, we have now a name of your 3-chloro-butanoic acid. So, simple as that. No? Meron tayong mga ganong simple names as that one. Alright? So, meron tayong mga esters, pero don't worry about this one much. I think wala na ito din sa mga activities natin doon sa I'll just give you an idea of how they are related to others. We still have 7 more minutes. Esters, they have the fruity odor. We have what you call your process called the esterification. Esters kasi yung gumagawa ng mga sabon, no? It's a combination of your alcohol and your carboxylic acid. No? When your alcohol and your carboxylic reacts, no? The process is what you call your esterification. In that case, para sa totoong buhay, ang gagawin natin, i-mix mo si animal fat at saka si vegetable oil, no? Ito yung ginagamit natin para gumawa tayo ng mga sabon or soap, sabi nito, which is actually still your esterification. Pero to specify more the type of esterification na gumagawa tayo ng sabon, no? The process is known as your saponification. Saponification. Kaya medyo malapit sa pangalan ng sabon. Soap, saponification. It's the mixture or the reaction of your animal fat and your vegetable oil. No? Yung meron kasing animal oil eh. Minsan nakakuha tayo ng oil from chicken, sa chicken skin, or oil from pork whenever we fry the pork, di ba? Namimixan niya ng oil. Yun yung masarap na nilalagay natin sa fried rice natin, yung mantika ng baboy. So, those are animal fat. And we have your vegetable oil. If you get to mix them together, we create soap, no? Tapos dagdagan na lang natin nung anong pabango yung gusto natin. And we have now your beauty soap, mga ganun, mga bangong mga sabon. Alright? But then again, it's related to what you call your esters. So yun, no? We have your methanol, which is your alcohol, and your carboxylic acid connected. Now, we have your methyl ethanoate. Hindi na tayo masyadong pupunta sa pangalan niya. Pero for your esters, no, the same thing that happens with others is just that at the end, lagyan mo lang ng OH. So si methane maging methanoate, si ethane maging ethanoate, si propane maging propanoate, mga ganong mga pangalan. Alright? So it's just that, no? You get to connect. Parang ganito, no? So we have your 1 carbon, which is actually your methane. Lagyan mo, tanggalin mo yung E, lagyan mo yung OH sa dulo, methanoate siya. And merong nag-branch out dito na si H3, which is your methyl. So methyl methanoate, parang ganun lang. Madali lang siyang pangalanin. In this case, 2 carbon, ano kaya ito? Tapos merong nag-branch out na si H3 dyan. Just a guess. 2 carbon. Pag 2 carbon, ano ito? Pag 2 carbon alkane, ano ito? Anybody? I still have 4 more minutes left. 2 carbons. Oh, pag 1 carbon, methane. Pag 2 carbon, ano yun? Still there? Have your 2 carbon. Ano kaya ang 2 carbon? Anybody? Lapit na tayo matapos.
18, sir.
Ano, you have your ethane, no? Ethane. But then, no, from ethane, we change that one to, tanggalin natin yung E sa last at O8. So, we have now your ethanoate. And we have a branching out of here of your CH3. Anong pangalan ng CH3 once again?
Methyl, sir.
You have your methyl. So, this is what you call your methyl ethanoate. No? So, just the same with the one that you had here. Methyl methanoate kasi 1 carbon. Ito naman dito, 2 carbon, so ethanoate. Tapos merong nag-branch out na methyl dyan. So, methyl methanoate. It's just simple as lang. Ito, 3 na naman. So, alam nyo na, madali lang yan. Pag 3 carbon is propane. So, change that one, the propane to propanoate. Tapos, mayroong nag-connect na methyl doon. So, therefore, this is your methyl propanoate. So, simple as that. Ito, 4 carbon. So, butane, butanoate. Tapos, may methyl sa dulo. So, methyl butanoate. Hanggang humabol. Ito, 3 carbon dito. So, this is your propyl. Propyl, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, pentanoate ito. So, we have now your propyl pentanoate. Ganun, mga bagay. So, for this week, no, for the last 3 minutes, you are to answer this assignment. You have your assignment number 9.1, which is you are to draw, no, the aldehyde or the ketone that is given here. Tapos, your 9.2 would entail a research, no? Ano bang gamit ng aldehydes and ketones sa human vision, no? Once again, human vision is really very important for like in your profession na hindi pwede yung mga malalabo yung mata, no? May kalaban kayo doon sa harap, hindi niyo makita. Tapos kasi malabo yung mata niyo sa human vision, how does it affect your aldehyde? And the second one would be your keto diet. No? Narinig niyo ba yung keto diet? Sabi nila, pag vegan ka, kumain ka ng mga vegetable-based or plant-based na mga pagkain. Hindi ka pwedeng kumain ng mga animal-based. Pag South Beach diet ka naman, there are certain food that you get to eat. But just to give you an idea of your keto diet naman, sabi nila, sa keto diet, kumain ka ng mga matataba. Fats. Pero magda-diet ka. So, paano yun? Isn't not ironic that nagda-diet ka nga, matataba naman yung kakainin mo. So what is this they call keto diet? How does this relate to ketones? At ano yung sakit na related dito pag tumaas yung ketone levels sa blood mo? And explain mo kung what is that disease all about. Kasi too much ketone in our blood level will result to a certain state in your body na talagang pwede kang maging paralyzed or pwede kang maging it will lead to body weakness or body malfunction. So, ketones and how does it relate to our body? So makita natin. And even the diet, no? Diyan. Tapos, then again, the same thing with the others, no? You are to name this one also. Baliktad naman dito sa 10.1. It's just that you are to name the drawings. And lastly, again, for the 10.2, it's just a matter of a research again. How do dogs are able to track people? As you get to see PNP in your profession, SNR is also a part of your work. No? SNR or your search and rescue. And at some point, we use dogs for us to be able to track people, mga natabunan ng landslide, or we're trying to track siguro a criminal on the loose, and we're going to use dogs for them to be able to track. So paano nila, how does this carboxylic acid relate to the ability of dogs to be able to track people? And there is a certain specific na carboxylic acid dito na tartaric acid, which is actually the cause of the sourness of the grape. How does it affect no, the sourness, flavoring agents, and the different stuff here? And you get to explain why it tastes sour. Right? So something like that. So for this week, sa Saturday ito, no, i-deadline natin sa Saturday, your chapters, lahat ng activities for your chapter 9 and lahat ng activities for your chapter 10. That would be 4 activities all in all that is due on Saturday. So this will be for this day, and questions are welcome before we get to part ways. It's exactly 11 o'clock. Any questions? May mga questions ba tayo? Questions? Anybody? If there are none, I get to see that you are already all silent. Then we'll see each other once again by Wednesday. So Wednesday tayo ulit yung last discussion na natin. So for those people, kailangan natin, the last topic will be quite long. Baka medyo mag-extend tayo ng konti kasi it's a broad topic, no? Topic siya na may four subtopics pa. I hope that you get to join that one because it will entail also a lot of items for your final exam. So once again, thank you very much for joining this time, and thank you very much, Ms. Rufino and Ms. Kingay and Mr. Erenio for actively joining and participating in this discussion. We get to see, hope that sana meron pang mga ibang mga mag-join ng discussion next time for your active participation. Once again, good morning and thank you very much for joining.